everybody, welcome to another video of Cooking with Brian and Grace.
Today we're making a fresh marinara. We went to the farmer's market and there was tomatoes on sale, so we picked up a lot of tomatoes and we're just going to make a big batch of marinara and keep it in the freezer to use throughout the winter. So for marinara, I never really follow a recipe. Just throw in ingredients I have on hand, whether it's basil, whatever onions I have, even celery, carrots. If you have some of that, you can throw it in. I'm just making a quick version today. So when we're done cooking it, I'm going to use the immersion blender. So sizes don't matter too much while you are chopping. So we're going to do one diced onion, a few slices in. For our marinara today, I have some Roma tomatoes, some assorted.
Ooh, so beautiful.
Yep, I washed it. I'm not sure if these are grape or cherry tomatoes. Some assorted colors. I like to use a variety because different tomatoes are going to have different flavors. But Romas are definitely a good one to use because they have more flesh and they're going to have less of the juice and insides. You'll end up with a higher yield from the marinara. And so these tomatoes are washed, and I'm just going to keep the grape tomatoes the same size. For the Roma tomatoes, I'm going to just chop the core out. And I'm just going to cut them into pieces. You don't even have to, but it will help them cook faster. So as you can see, I'm not taking the skin off, and I'm leaving the seeds inside the tomato. You can definitely take them off. You probably will get a different texture, but I find for a quick marinara this works fine. So I'm just going to cut this a few times and then cut this into quarters, and this will be a bit smaller so it cooks a little bit faster. The smaller you cut it, it will cook faster, but it's not really necessary. Alright, so I have a hot pan here. It's been preheating over medium-high heat. I'm going to add a few tablespoons of olive oil. I like to do a little extra when I'm making marinara. It shouldn't take too long for the oil to come up to temperature, but as soon as it starts to shimmer, and it's going to start to smoke, and then it's a little bit too late. So it's just starting to shimmer now. Alright, so here I have about 3 cups of diced onion. I'm going to pour it in my hot oil. So for the onion, we're not looking for very much color. We're more looking for just to sweat. So it should take about 5 minutes, stirring periodically. At this point, I'll add a pinch of salt. This will help draw the moisture out of the onions. Alright, so I've been sauteing my onions for about 5 minutes, and they're just starting to become translucent. So while the onions are finishing, I have about 8 cloves of garlic. And so since I'm blending this marinara when it's done cooking, I'm just going to throw these in whole and cook these for about a minute or two until it becomes fragrant. Alright, so I've been letting the garlic cook for a few minutes now. The onions are translucent and the garlic is smelling a bit fragrant. Since they were whole pieces, a few minutes really barely started cooking them. So I'm going to attempt to put all these tomatoes in that pot. We don't have a large mixing bowl, so the cutting board is coming with me. And we're just going to dump these in. Now there's lots of different things you could be adding to this, but I'm keeping this a very simple recipe. So this will have many uses throughout the winter. The next step is just going to be to cook this until they break down and become soft. I'm estimating it'll cook about an hour. I have about 6 pounds of tomatoes here. Look at these. Give it a little stir. I'm gonna leave this over medium-high heat while it gets going. All stoves are different, so you just want to make sure you don't want get anything burning to the bottom. And just to speed up the cooking process, I am going to throw the lid on here, just because we're hungry and we want to eat dinner tonight. We're just going to be making a simple spaghetti with meat sauce, some garlic bread on the side. So stay tuned for what's next. Alright, so the marinara has been cooking for about 30 minutes. You can see the tomatoes have gotten really tender, falling apart in here. So I'm just going to cook it now and let it reduce. You can let this reduce to your liking, however thick you want the sauce to be. I'm going to go pretty thick. I'd say at least another 20 minutes. I have the heat now on medium. So let's go another 20 minutes and we'll check back in and see how the thickness is. But it's just about there. Very simple sauce, easy to make. Alright, the marinara has been reducing for about 20-30 more minutes and it's just about the consistency that I want it. You could always cook it down more or add more liquid back after we blend it. So I'm just going to throw in a handful of basil. This is all the basil we had in our plant. Let's mix this in real quick. And I'm looking for a smooth sauce, so if you want something that has some consistency, you could leave it like this, or you could put the basil in after you blend it. Lots of different ways to go with this. So I'm just going to use the immersion blender and blend this until smooth. Alright, so I've blended my sauce, got it nice and smooth. At this point, you can check for consistency. Add more water, chicken stock, whatever, or reduce it more. And I'm kind of liking where it is. And we also have to taste for our seasoning. Alright, definitely more salt. Let's say I'm going to add about almost a tablespoon of salt here because I haven't had any. And I'm also going to add a little black pepper because I haven't added any of that either. I'm going to go back in. Even a little more at this point, but you can season it to your own liking. Add a little red chili flakes, oregano, tomato paste. There's lots more ingredients you could add. Make it your own flavors and how you like it. But that's it for the marinara. I'll show you how we're going to use it tonight. Alright, so here's the finished meal. We just have some linguine, some ground beef and the sauce, a little ciabatta with like a garlic and rosemary butter. I'm just going to sit down and enjoy this.
Looks really good.
For the leftover marinara, we're just going to put it in Ziploc bags. Keep that in the freezer. And we get a little Parmesan on there.
The finishing touches.
Yeah, and that's it. Alright, thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.